Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. And today really was a happy Thursday. I said yesterday I was looking to come into today after FOMC and have some really good action, and we actually did today. We had some really good stuff, really obvious movers out there, and I really could not be any happier. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Break down every trade one by one. I am extremely happy. Now, there was only one real obvious stock out there today. We're going to run through all three that I traded: CVU, HBIO, and INTS today. And all of them were okay, but CVU was really the main one to watch today. This was leading gapper this morning. We had news this morning on CVU, which had a pretty great headline. We actually had news with Raytheon in the headline this morning, which of course you have these name drops. It's always a great headline. And so that was awesome. We came in, had some nice news on CVU, had that Raytheon name drop, and this thing really got going here in pre-market. And so I'm watching this, and of course a little bit reluctant to take it through here. And so again, I initially started watching it right here on the break of VWAP. And in hindsight, I wish I would have taken it there, but I was waiting until market open. I was like, all right, let's sit back and just wait. After FOMC yesterday, I want to see what happens here after market open. And so that's what I did. And I'm not mad about it. I still played this thing perfectly today. And so this was the top watch into market open. This was the only thing that really had any bit of strength going into the bell. At this point, other gappers like INTS and CMBM just didn't, they were all backside. And VSIG was backside. Not a whole lot really looked good. And so it wasn't hard to figure out what the obvious stock was. And that was really why today was so easy, because it was not hard to decipher what that obvious stock was, where our eyes needed to be. And so CVU this morning was the stock to watch, and this thing really got hot this morning over VWAP. And again, as it broke up through VWAP, I looked at the news, I say, oh, it's got Raytheon in the headlines. All right, we got the name drop, let's play this. And so I'm watching it out of market open, and a few things here that are very similar to, it was actually back to CODX on Monday, almost exact, I think it was Monday. All the days sort of go together. But this looked really good. So we had this pass low, again, swing low to swing low. And so we know we have this defined higher low here. And so we drag this higher low, cool. And then we know we've got this higher high. Again, so now we have defined high. So we know we have this ascending channel here going into the open. And so now with that all being said, I then know, based on that, where my room is here on the chart. And so I played this out of market open. And you can see here, we open in a strong way. And I didn't take it off this pullback like I really wanted to. I got it a little bit high here, and so it caused me to be a little bit scalpy out of the gate, but I still played this fairly well. And so what happens here is, again, I take an entry up into the highs here, which you can see was right around 384. I take it at 384 with a stop loss in place down here at the bottom of this last candle around 364, risking about 20 cents a share here. And then I get the move higher. And again, I get the move up into, and what I have my eyes on at this point, let me get rid of some of these lines. What I have my eyes on at this point is this past draw of liquidity from earlier on in pre-market right here. Right, and so I understand that's an area of supply overhead, and so I'm able to at least manage accordingly to make sure that's not going to get me caught in a little bit of a knife there. And so I get the first move here, and I get trimmed up into that high, and you can see here I trim into that high, and I take majority position out. But then what happens here is price pulls back off of that entry price and gets aggressively bought back up. And whenever that happens, I took a re-entry, got back in, you can see right here, got back in and got the leg up through that previous side because it looked like it wanted to break higher. So got the entry there. Again, stop loss would have been there at the bottom of that candle. They're risking that first entry, playing with some profits. And I get a leg up through the highs here to the next high, again, up into ascending resistance. We can see here, look at this. And so again, we have this higher high, which has us this ascending resistance overhead, sitting right around $4.40, really. So sitting right around $4.40. All right, and so knowing that, I'm going to be able to take these pullbacks quite well because we have this sort of supply and demand flip type trade where look at this. So we have this area of supply from pre-market. This is an area of supply that once price breaks above and pulls back to confirm becomes an area of demand. I know, beautiful handwriting. So we have supply here. Of course, price flips and it becomes demand. So I'm again taking pullbacks through here, looking to see if we can't get the squeeze up through ascending resistance. Awesome. And so I take these pullbacks again from I played it twice. I played it from 418 to about 430s. And then, of course, I'm taking full profit up into the highs here because we know we have ascending trend overhead. So taking full profit. Price pulls back. Again, you can see took a re-entry back off the pullback again. And then again, get trimmed up into the highs here. And my full exit here was, I was really wanting to see the breakout. But what happens here is, again, per my exit strategy, we have this lower high. Look at this. Price tries to break to a new high here. Instantly rejects back beneath. And that's my full exit. You can see I took my full profit there and was done with it from then on. And so then we know that price is likely to reject because, again, we grab liquidity here, which is a signal of reversal. It tries to make a move higher, but of course I don't play it here. While a lot of people are getting faked out, I don't play it here because we know we are right up into ascending trend, which we have no trade, exactly. So then we pull back here. Take a look at this. This is awesome. Then we pull back here. We break to the backside of the move here because, again, this is considered to be backside all through here. And then price reclaims moving averages here. Look at this. We get breaking back above, right? We have the break of this trend here, the break of local trend. And we also have this flip back out of this area of, again, supply again. Look at this. And so then we see here where this move happens here out of the open. And again, I'm looking at this here as sort of this. And so we see where we have out of market open this sort of base rally type move. I know we found buyers off of this low prior. And so dragging this on over and looking for buyers to break this wedge here. And so let me actually draw this a little bit better for you. Apologies, need to be Picasso. And so price breaks to the upside. I take it for the squeeze higher and where risking off the right here, top of that breakout spot to ensure that breakout did hold, and it actually did hold. And we got to move here all the way to about $4.40. So again, another beautiful trade here. This was picture perfect. I could not have been any happier with this. And of course, we knew the top was in here, ascending resistance overhead. And so you can see they would play it to the downside too. But this is awesome. I couldn't be any happier with this. Super happy. This is one of the first obvious setups we've had, well, in the last 2 days, because yesterday was the first day we really hadn't had anything. It was FOMC day and it was very slow. But we still had some good opportunities yesterday. But the thing with this is, again, it's in that perfect share price range. Cheap is okay, but getting that healthy $2, $3, $4, $5 price range is where I really prefer to be. And of course, float here, sub 10 million shares, looking at a 9 million share float. We had the Raytheon news. Yeah, it just was really a good setup to trade today. Moving on from this, though, that's about that. This thing was amazing, but, you know, HBIO. This is what I'm talking about when I say float. Why it's so important, because this stock looked really good multiple times this morning, but I just could not get good reads on it. And I left some money on the table. I'm green on it, but I left a lot of money on the table because what happens here is we have this big move to the upside. I'm looking for this pullback to bottom. You can see here it bottoms off the 9 EMA. And I take the entry that I'm pretty happy with, and I took it here risking off this past low for the move back up into the previous high of day, which ended up working out. But it gets moving here. We move to the upside. We break to the new high. You can see here we break to the new high to 66 cents. And then it like puts in this nasty topping tail. And at that point, I'm like, no, let me give this. And so you can see I took a full exit there for a small win. It's just weird. And so I leave it alone here because, again, you're beneath the 9 EMA, not really going to take it there. And so what I now know is we've got supply formed off the highs here. Right, I got supply formed off the highs here. And we know for a fact we've got these confirmed higher lows. We got these confirmed higher lows. At least now we do. Of course, we did not here because this hadn't confirmed yet, but nonetheless. And so I'm looking for the reclaim of the 9 EMA, looking to see if we can't get price to curl back up into the top of its range. And again, just very tiny profit. I mean, listen, I take it here on the breakout, and I mean, maybe a 2-cent move, and then we see it hesitate. We see sellers come in, and it's just, all right, let's get out of this. Same story up here, highs, curling off the 9 EMA, try to get the squeeze up through the highs. And again, we found sellers out of this previously formed area of supply from earlier on in the morning. And as we found sellers here, just took a full exit. So again, sold up into supply after rejecting off the potential breakout here, sold full to make sure that at least locked in profits. Outside of that, we also had INTS today, which was okay. I didn't have much conviction with this, to be honest with you. I stopped breaking out. The float had me hesitate a little bit. And so, yeah, I like this too much. And I'm pretty much break even on this. I'm very small green on it. But, you know, first entry here, which you can kind of see my sell, I was de-risking so quickly because I didn't have much conviction. But you can see here, took it off the pullback, and of course, risking off of this previous high. Ended up making the move, and I got some profits taken up here into these highs. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like this too much. The float here, the way it traded, it just wasn't too clean, honestly. It really wasn't all that clean, which it's just so surprising. We look this up and look at HBIO price action. It just really is a mess. You look, 15-second time frame is a lot more telling. Look at the topping tails here. It's so much more telling on the 15-second. Look at this. And so it's just the way these large float names trade. It's like don't have as much of an edge, I feel like, and they just trade a lot more manipulative, at least in my experience, right? And so you can even see here in INTS. So this one here was also a bit funky. This is the pullback that I took it on here. And I took it through here. And as it was curling, I don't know, something about it just didn't feel right. The way it was moving, it was very rigid. That's the one thing about these large float names. They trade very rigid, very wide, you know, very almost stair-steppy. But nonetheless, that is the morning recap. Hopefully you guys had an awesome day today. I know today was much better than we have been seeing. It's been an awesome week, though. Look at this. Yesterday, nice and green, even with FOMC. Tuesday was a beautiful day. Monday was an amazing day. So it's been really, really good. So if you learned something from this video, make sure to subscribe for daily content just like this, and hopefully you had an awesome day. As always, make sure to claim your 7-day free trial as well in the description down below, so you can actually watch me trade these stocks every single day in real time and get my watch list, alerts, education, chat room access, scanners, news, and so much more. And that being said, hope to see you there.